Hello and welcome back to the Patient First Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin. And today we have my second favorite topic to talk about right here on the Patient First Podcast. Number one, books applied to dentistry. We talk about how we can take books out in the real world and apply them to dentistry. And I talk about that, how that is my favorite. That is my favorite one. But number two is ruffling feathers. I don't know what it is about me. Actually, I do know what it is about me. It's my ADHD. That's just, people, 1/3 of entrepreneurs have ADHD, and I've definitely fall into that. And part of ADHD is being a little bit of a rebel and liking to ruffle feathers. And so be it. That's the way I am. But my friends, the topic that we're going to have today that's going to ruffle people's feathers, dentists particularly, is how to pick a dentist that cares. And this podcast is brought to you by Tooth App's websites, websites that care. Now, Tooth App's websites is the way to link all of your applications in a seamless, patient friendly, mobile friendly, secure way. It doesn't require any IT to build or to have a Tooth App's website made. And then as you add applications, they just magically appear and are removed when you remove them from your website. Check it out at toothapps.com. But today we're talking how to pick a dentist that cares, right? Now, fundamentally, I want to start off with intuition. I think most of us have that internal sense when we meet somebody, how they, how we feel about them. And usually, my friends, I think that is a strong indicator. Why? We're basically humans that have been created over the course of millions of years as a social creatures to be able to instinctively tell whether or not we can trust somebody or not. So what does that mean? That means that you can't get that from looking at a website. Obviously the tried and true of talking to your friends, social proof. If you have a friend that has a dentist, birds of a feather flock together. So if your friend likes a place, you probably will too. But then the way that people select dentists today is different. They don't usually listen to one person. They'll hear what a person says and then they'll go check out the dentist online. If they look at the website, and it's archaic, which unfortunately a lot of practices websites are, that's a red flag. And my friends, I'm here to tell you, I think that's good. What by that I mean, I think that if you in the year 2023, if you look at a practice's website and it's archaic, if it looks like it's 20 years old, I actually think today, personally, that is a good indication that the dentist is behind the times. Period. Full stop. Now, that doesn't mean that if their website is up to date, that they're a great dentist. It means that if they haven't maintained their website, chances are they haven't kept up to date with technology. If you're a dentist and you think I'm wrong, please let me know why. But why would you, if you knew what anybody walking around planet Earth in 2023 knows, which is that people are checking out websites on their phone, and you don't update your website, what does that show the world about your quality of care? And I would argue it says something. Now that doesn't mean that if your website is up to date, that the quality of care is great, right? It's just I do believe that when your friend, if you talk to somebody and they say, I think this dentist is great, and you go check out their website and it looks like it's from 1990, it's not mobile friendly, it's not secure. I think that is a red flag, my friends, both to know as a dentist. So you should get it fixed. Go to toothapps.com and get it fixed for free. Or as a patient, if you go to your dentist website and it looks like their cousin did it in a weekend, that is a red flag, I believe today. So that's number one. So also what's on the website? If a dentist, excuse me, truly cares about their patients, they'll probably have technology and tools that patients care about today. Things like the ability to send a photo if you have an emergency. They'll have emergency contact information for sure, because they're not going to want to let their patients that they care about just hanging out to dry. They'll have paperless forms online. I think those are key things. And by paperless forms, I don't mean PDFs. You know, Dentistry is becoming more technology driven, and the website is a key indicator of how that dentist feels about technology. It's very obvious if you go to dentist practice website, typically how they either leverage technology or don't. And I'm sorry, but I believe that technology is a key component to delivering quality care for many, many reasons. So that's number one. Go to their website, check them. Well, number one is social proof, talk to your friends. Also, reviews. I do think reviews matter today, just like they do buying anything else. Because similar to a website, if a dentist truly believes in good quality care, they're going to pay attention to their reviews. That doesn't mean having a negative review reflects negatively on a patient. Look, if you have thousands of patients, with which most dentists do, the ones that are going to be most likely to review you, if you don't go out and request reviews, are going to give you a negative review. So one or two negative reviews doesn't mean it, in my mind, doesn't mean anything. But what does matter is the positive reviews. And even though the most valuable reviews, I believe, are the ones that are like 4 stars, right? Because that's an objective person that's stating what they truly believe. So if there's a volume of reviews, then if they have 100 reviews and a 4.5 rating, that's great. But read a couple of them. Then, if you truly want to know how to pick a dentist that cares, walk into the office. Just go there and check them out. Like I mentioned before, birds of a feather flock together. So look at the team as an extension of the dentist or the dental team, the clinical team. Usually, the people at the front desk, won't last long if you have an excellent clinical team and a very poor business system. The people that greet you when you walk in, if they don't look you in the eye, if they don't smile at you, there's probably some balls being dropped in the practice. And it's hard to differentiate. Patients, I hate to say it, you can't judge clinical quality. It's too exacting for most patients to be able to tell. So how can you actually select a dentist that cares about quality of care? You have to do it on these other factors, and I don't think that that's wrong. I mean, I think because it's going to be difficult to actually judge the quality of care in dentistry. It's kind of like, for me to go get my car fixed. Do I know that I don't know about fixing cars that much, not enough to know if they're actually doing what they're saying they're doing or checking up on it. You just can't know. So we have to go by the criteria that we can see. The website, the technology they have on their website. When we walk in the office, are we greeted? Is there technology that they're talking about? Are they using technologies like teledentistry, emergency visits, virtual reality, right? Keeping their systems up to date? These are all indicators that the dentist cares. These are all calories that the dentist or the team has had to burn to elevate their practice. And if they're doing it in these ways, they're probably doing it in other ways too. The dentists that are using CAD/CAM dentistry, CT imaging, listening to this podcast, and updating their website, leveraging the tools that offer patient convenience like teledentistry, those dentists care about their patients. I'm not saying that other ones don't, but what I'm saying is that it's difficult for a patient looking at a practice to determine whether or not that dentist cares or not. And so we have to bridge the gap. If those of us who are focused exclusively on providing the highest quality care, you cannot, in my opinion, in the year 2023, ignore your website, the technology, your team members, and looking patients in the eye. If you're a dentist, sitting people upright instead of looming over them, looking at the computer instead of looking at the patient when you talk to them. Those are all indications that we, as a species that has developed over millions of years, use to basically determine trust. And we have to use those as a patient to determine if you can trust the dentist, and as a dentist to show patients that we care. Think of updating your website. Think of providing conveniences to patients. Think of showing them that you care. Thank you very much again for showing up here. It does show that you care, in my opinion, and I appreciate that. Appreciate you being an engaged member in the dental community, whoever you are. And if you have comments, I'd love to read them. And I look forward to seeing you next week right here on the Patient First Podcast.